In this case, we're going to graph square roots, but before we graph square roots, let's review. If I have y equals x squared, it looks like this, with a vertex at 0, 0. And if it's plus, it opens up. If it's minus, it opens down. If I put y equals x squared plus 2 and I put the plus 2 out back, what does it do to the graph? Raises it up 2 units. If I have y equals x squared minus 3, what does it do? It's going to go down 3. If I say y equals x minus 2 squared, now you'll notice the x minus 2 is in with the square. What does it do, Bradshaw? Close. Remember, it's backwards when it's inside, so it's right. 2. 1, 2. Because if I put what in here to make it 0? What would this take to make x minus 2 0?
2.
Positive 2. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So if I have y equals x plus 3 quantity squared, what does it do to it, folks? Move it left 3. Okay, so if I have y equals the square root of x, here's what the square root of x looks like. It looks like that. Technically, it's this. Because if I square both sides, I get y squared equals x. So instead of y equals x squared looking like this, x equals y squared is like a parabola, but turned on its side. Because in this case, there were 2 x's at any given y, one backward and one forward. Ideally, with square roots, what's the square root of 64?
8.
No,
Plus or minus 8.
plus or minus 8. Because ideally, you would go over there and you go up and down. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
How come I only show the top and I do not show the bottom anymore? Does anybody know why? Because if I showed the bottom, would it be a function that passes the vertical line test?
No.
So what we do is we take this nice parabola, we turn it on its side, and then we go pay no attention to the graph below the x-axis curtain, because we're just ignoring it because it causes us problems. So this is your graph, y equals x squared of x, starts at 0, 0, and is half a parabola this direction. I want to know, number 1, y equals the square root of x plus 2, and the plus 2 is outside the square root. What does it look like? What do you think it does? Up 2, 1, 2. So instead of starting at 0, you just scoot it up 2. If I have y equals square root of x minus 3, what's it going to look like? 1, 2, 3. It's going to start down 3. There it is. Number 3, if I say y equals negative square root of x. Now, if I had negative y, it would flip it over vertically. Guess what it's going to do here? Instead of this, what do you get? Instead of going up, the negative makes it go down. It looks like that. Number 4, y equals the square root of x minus 2. Bradshaw, what does it do? Right 2, 1, 2. Then it starts. Finally, for number 5, y equals the square root of x plus 3. What does it do, folks? 1, 2, 3. And why is it moving left this time? Because it's in underneath the square root with the x. So that is simply shifting your graphing of square roots.